How's it going, everybody? Johnny Styles here from the Wellness Observer Live. Thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for being here one more time. Last week we were 14,000 strong, and now we are 14,500. And I thank you guys for the support of the wellness page of the Godfather of Wellness, the one and only. And thank you for all of you that have subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's awesome. And if you're not on YouTube, you can follow it on Spotify, which you can do both. You can do video and you can do audio, or you can do iTunes. Thank you so much one more time. I cannot thank you enough for the support. We are coming up with a few exciting things for all of you following Johnny Styles and, of course, the Wellness Observer Live. I promise you some cool, very cool stuff happening, and you'll get to see it first here on the Wellness Observer Live. We got a lot of news for you, and today specifically, we're going to talk about the Ifbb Pro Sin City that happened. It took place this weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the top four of this great show, because it was a great show. And I'll also be talking about, of course, a little bit about the star rating, which I posted up there on the Wellness Observer. All these pictures that you've seen can be found only on npcnewsonline.com, of course. And you can also follow the page of the Muscle Contest. These guys do a good job over there in California on the West Coast, and they also do great shows in Brazil. Again, we're going to be talking about the Sin City show, but first, I think I need to address something that happened prior to the show, because as you guys know, and if you don't know, you are new here following, usually I don't like, not yet, I don't like to give predictions on the wellness girls just yet, because again, we haven't seen them compete a lot. And when you have a category like fitness or figure or women's physique that's established for many years, then you kind of get to know the competitors, and you kind of get to know who's doing what show, and you kind of know what to expect. Nothing, everything happens live, so there's really not a set standard for who's going to win or lose, but there are some heavy favorites. So you can pick and choose, and you can assess who looked what in the last show. And maybe you can be like, you know what? Maybe this girl is going to place top 3. Maybe this girl's going to win the whole show. Who knows? But since I don't do those type of predictions yet, I look at the list and I look at who's there and who's not. And according to that list, I'll pick, I don't know, top 3, top 4, depending on who's in the show. If you guys are following, you know that I picked 4 girls to be there. And this was prior to the show. All the girls are right there. If you don't know them, that's Karen to the left, Karen Branokia, or Brandau for that matter. You got Frida Paulsen, you got Bruna, and you got none other than Michelle Ivata. All 4 of them. And this was for the preview, okay? Just a preview. And like I told you guys, I believed these girls were going to be doing top 4. And as we moved forward, I was liking this whole new Reels thing, because a lot of you have asked me about doing Reels on Instagram. And now I'm proud to say that the Reels are available on Instagram, because sometimes you're on the run. You don't want to listen to the whole, podcast or video cast, and you just want to listen to the, little tips and tips of little glimpses of whatever I say of a certain competitor. So what I did was, I started the whole Reel thing, and it's been a success. Thank you guys again. I can't thank you guys enough. And I kept talking about Bruna, kept talking about Frida Paulsen. And I came, I usually post a picture of the competitor coming up to the show if she poses a preview picture. And then I actually go on and critique the person. So what I'm going to be talking about here is about Karen Brandau's post that I did prior to the show. If you didn't know, this post went crazy. I don't want to say it went viral, but it went crazy. And even, JM was in there. A lot of competitors were in there. A lot of competitors were in my DMs. And even 7-time Mr. Olympia from the 212, my very good friend Flex Lewis, went and commented on this specific post. Obviously, Flex is friends with Karen and Rafael, which I'm friends with them too. We did videos back in the Dragon's Lair when they were here in Florida, and now they train in the Dragon's Lair in Vegas. So what happened with this post was that a lot of people didn't see my podcast. And just like I told Flex, and if he's watching, I hope he watches this, mate, I know you have a podcast. I watch it. It's great. I also have one. And I also critique the person's prior when I do previews. So what I think happened is that a lot of people didn't get a chance to hear what I said on my prediction show about Karen. So when they saw the post, they kind of were taking off a bit on things that I said. Like I said, I believe that her calves are still lagging. Why? Because in the video that I posted of her, she was wearing some high socks, and that's usually that's a sign that they're hiding a little bit of calf development. And oh boy, did I get crucified in this post because I had that critique about her. And in reality, people didn't even see the show where I praised her. I praised her to the very best because I know this girl. I know this girl live, and I know, I know her. And also I know from a fact that, she did go through some hardships. Okay. I even contacted, some medical experts, and they told me that it's almost a miracle that, this person, Karen, is on stage because, going through what she went through, especially at a very young age, this could have been devastating. This could have gone terribly bad for her in her life. And for her to overcome this, come back to the stage and make a statement because she placed second, or even if she had placed third or fourth, it's still a statement because you're coming back from a health situation that could have been devastating, could have been really bad, especially at a young age. And I made sure, to do my research, and I made sure to talk to my doctor's friends. And yes, all these doctors concurred. This could have been very bad. And it's a miracle. It's almost a miracle that she's back on stage and looking like she did. What I did was, again, I talked about her calves, and Rafael, I hope he's watching too. Rafael came over and he said that she has calves for the division, and of course JM came over and he said, there's no mention of the word calf in the Ifbb Pro League rules and all that. And all of this, I know, I clearly know. As a matter of fact, around the year 2014, I don't know if a lot of you know the history, but I'll probably post it here in a second. Around the year 2014, the Arnold Classic in Brazil hold the wellness category. And while it was still like a kind of like a modelish search, the people at the Arnold Classic hosted it in Brazil. And I remember people went nuts for it. I had people calling left and right. I'm pulling it up in the screen right here for you guys to see. I remember clearly. This is the show where the world famous 10-time Miss Wellness Olympia Aline Barreto was in the show, and Angela Borges was in the show as well. And if you don't know, this is from Muscleless, of course, but if you don't know, wellness back then was being held with a G-string contest. Okay, the wellness was held with a G-string, as you can see. And I covered this, believe it or not, because back in the day when we did shows we used to critique people either from the Olympia, Arnold shows, etc., etc. We used to do that in the forums because there was no Instagram, or Instagram was still a photo based app. Never in a million years people thought Instagram was going to become what it is now, for at least for our bodybuilding world. Okay. So what we did was we called the shows and we went competitor per competitor, and we analyzed and we critique. Trust me, by the year 2013, 2014, 2015, people were critiquing hard competitors. Chris Aceto, Dave Palumbo, Sean Ray, all these people were in the forums, and all these people were critiquing hard. And that's kind of where I learned to critique people a little bit harder than usual. And trust me when I say this, I have learned to watch my tone. Remember, English is not my first language. Sometimes I can say something kind of comes weird, but English is not my first language. And I still have learned to say, you know what, this competitor has this, so, and forth, whatever. And then I can say, and you know what, this competitor can get better in this, that, and the other. Right after this 2014 Arnold Classic, I remember a couple people asking me. One of those people that asked me about, the wellness class was promoter extraordinaire Tim Garner. Because remember, Tim Garner was also in talks to run the NPC/IFBB Puerto Rico shows. And in Puerto Rico, we had a lot of girls that followed wellness, of course, Latin America. So I remember him letting me know, hey, do you know the rule book for the wellness category? Is there a rule? Is there like some pamphlet I can read so we can move forward with this? Maybe we can do something with it. And I remember vividly where I said, yes, there is a rule book. And I will be more than gladly to email it to you so you can understand a little bit more about the class and eventually bring it at least to Puerto Rico, because we didn't know if it was going to be an enough boom to Made it in America. We went ahead, and I have the date here as well. On June 15th, 2016, I sent out the official IFBB at the time. Remember, the IFBB Pro League was in conjunction one federation. Now it's two. You have the IFBB Pro League and you have the IFBB Elite. It's two different competitions, two different federations. Back then, it was just one. Okay, so overall, it was worldwide, and I sent out in English and in Spanish. I sent out the rule book for him as a judge and a promoter to understand a little bit more about the class. Remember, 2014, 2015, even 2013. I think the only person I had told back then was JM at the New York Pro. And there's a picture of that in the Wellness Observer. If you go scroll down, you'll see that. Again, nobody was talking about it. Nobody didn't know I had the handbook. Nobody asked for it. Only Tim Garner asked me for it. And I went ahead. I said, I have all that still in email. When JM went on this post that I did of Karen, and he talked about, there's no talks about calves, this, that, and the other. I knew that if the wellness division was going to cross over to America, I knew that things were changing. Probably it was not going to be like the OG wellness, huge, humongous girls. Maybe it was going to be a little bit toned down. Maybe the slang was going to be a bit different. Maybe they were going to do a meeting with all these judges that probably didn't know anything about wellness, and then explain to them what they're looking for, the look, the style, the feel, everything. And I was sure they were going to come out with a rule book where in the IFBB Pro League /NPC, this is the wellness look that we're looking for. When that came out, I was really happy. He is 100% sure. There is no mention in the calves. He's 100% sure. There's talk about delts, abs, glutes, but no calves. I understand that in bodybuilding, the men open bodybuilders, for a while, calves haven't mattered in reality. You've seen guys compete, and some guy is complete from the head to toe, and then some guy's a little bit bigger, but has zero calves and still wins. Of course, it's bodybuilding, bigger, probably bigger, better, wins, or whatever. But in my opinion, calves do matter. It's not just because I have calves. It's not just because it's an integral part of the body. It's because we are talking wellness. Okay. When we're talking wellness, wellness is the only class in the IFBB Pro League and the NPC in the entire universe that it's not 100% symmetrical. If you don't understand what I'm saying, is when you're looking at the bodybuilder, you're looking at the V taper, wide shoulders, small waist, big quads, good legs, etc., etc. When you're looking at a men's physique, V taper, small waist, that's it. Same goes for the women. In figure, it's literally called figure for a figure shape. In wellness, is the entire thing goes up and down. So you're looking at a not a symmetry look, it's completely opposite of a symmetry because your lower body has to be bigger than your upper body. If you're judging your lower body, in my opinion alone, calves are an integral part of the lower body. If I'm gonna go with what the rule book says, even if it's a men's open bodybuilder, I want to be a complete bodybuilder. Just because it doesn't say you don't, it doesn't, just because it doesn't say it has calves doesn't mean I'm not gonna train calves. Of course, I'm gonna train calves. That's part of it. Some people don't even train their forearms, but they do. They're part of your arm. They're part of your arm. You haven't seen Phil Heath's forearms, holy moly, or Phil or Jay Cutler's forearms, or Lee Priest's forearm. Insane. Frank McGrath, insane. But that's, people compare calves to forearms too, because, for whatever reason, they're not as important as a chest or back or whatever. So I remember picking up the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia, and I remember Arnold saying that he wore short shorts to the gym to remind himself how small his calves were, to remind himself that he had to train those calves harder than ever before. So he did prioritize that muscle group because at the end of the day, that would help his symmetry. JM said that at the end of the day, if you have two competitors battling for first and second, then maybe the judges would go with a competitor that has better calves because it'll be an overall look compared to somebody that has smaller, not as much developed calves. So what does that say? You still have to train calves. You still have to train them no matter what. We are searching for the perfect body in all classes. We are seeking perfection according to the class. We are seeking the very best body in the world. Don't you think, as a competitor, you should train your body to achieve the very best look in the world? Of course you do. If you're not doing that and you're just leaving it to like, oh, okay, so since it doesn't mention calves, then I'm not going to train them as much because I do have whatever I need to whatever. If you do that, then you're not fully bodybuilding. You're just doing it for what the rule book says. So that's just my opinion. Okay. When I critique people in the best to my knowledge and ability, since I've been doing this for the past 12 years. I've known the class way better than people didn't even knew it existed. Okay. So when I say something about a competitor, it's not maliciously. It is not maliciously. It is something that I think this competitor can work on so this competitor can be better. It is something that I strongly believe that this competitor can be better and make itself look like a superstar. When I do these videos, I get gratification from girls that I've critiqued hard, girls that have no muscle. And in 3 years, they come back at me and say, look what I did with my body. And I have to like bow down to them. That to me says a lot because that shows that I lit up the fire in that person in order for that person to achieve the very best look in the world today. So that, my friends, is my end of that rant. According to this post, I hope everybody sees it. I hope Rafael sees it. I hope Flex sees it. Of course, JM, of course, we always talk back and forth. And I understand completely what he was coming for. I understand that he was talking about the rule book, and I understand it. I was just giving my opinion. Listen, there's people online right now that destroy the lives of competitors, either with Photoshop, either with calling them out, this, that, and people praise them. People say the bestest thing, and they don't go after them like that. They don't go that. They go after me. For what? For saying that somebody can be better? Of course they can be better. We're always seeking perfection. I'm sure if you ask Phil Heath, Jay Cutler, Flex Wheeler, I'm sure if you ask all these athletes that I thought, in my opinion, they were almost nearly perfection, I'm sure if you ask them, they will tell you that there was something always that they can get better. So that's the end of this rant. I hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from, because I've been doing this for a very long time. And there is nothing personal with any competitor, any at all, especially in the class that I prayed so hard to get into, the United States of America. So shutting that off now. Thank you again to Mr. Olympia Flex Lewis for coming onto the Wellness Observer. I know he follows the page. Thank you so much, mate. I hope I see you soon. And coming from you, you have one of the biggest calves in the whole world. So, hey, if somebody knows something about calves, it's you, my friend. All right, coming up from this great show, ladies and gentlemen, I did the Styles 5-star rating review, and I'm going to start it off with none other. I told you guys, Michelle Iwata, which surprisingly, in my opinion, placed fourth here. I think I have my idea why she did place fourth, but she was a banger, ladies and gentlemen. She looked absolutely crazy, okay? If you thought she looked crazy in Brazil, she looked even better now, okay? When I saw her come out, and I saw that picture by herself, I really thought she had this for first and second, because she looked absolutely amazing. When I talk about, her makeup here, it's because you see there's a difference in the coloring from her face to her tan. That can be fixed, and other than that, I think from the side right here, if you see it from the side where I'm pointing, she can get thicker from the side, between the hams and the quads, and I honestly think that's the nail in the coffin, and that's why she didn't place the way people thought she was going to place. In third place, giving 3 stars to Frida Paulsen, which I am super happy that Frida is in the wellness division where she belongs. Truly, she was one of the OGs in bikini that people or girls to this day still tell me, hey, I love Frida Paulsen. Her glutes are amazing. So to this day, girls love Frida Paulsen. Who doesn't love Frida Paulsen? For her to get third place here is a win, absolutely, in my opinion. She does need to get better, again, on the side thickness of the legs. But this is a marathon. This is not a sprint, okay? So when you're looking at a body like hers, every single time she steps on stage, she's getting better. She's getting bigger. She's getting more developed. Not even in her glutes, but, her quads and hamstrings. She was a little bit softer than I'm used to seeing her. I would have loved to see her a little bit harder, maybe on the hamstrings right here. She does have high calves, which Karen has too, but she has more mass development in the calves. I think if Frida would have placed a little bit higher if she would have brought in a little bit more conditioning, because from the back, that's where you can see that, she is not bringing the hardness that the judges were looking for. So I was happy for Frida. I was happy, because in reality, she committed to it. And I know she loves to train. I know this is the class for her to develop. Very graceful on stage, very good, very solid representation. Very good. I'm very happy for Frida. Next up, in second place, ladies and gentlemen, the talk of the town, obviously, because we just spent freaking 20 minutes talking about her, Karen Ranoglia, or Karen Brandao, however she calls herself nowadays. She did a boom, ladies and gentlemen. She did come in bigger than we were seeing her before. And, great upper body, great abs, good presentation. 3.5 stars again, because she does have a little bit more room for improvement, especially in the calves. If you see again, you see the back post right here. Tell me, tell me these back posts right here that doesn't flow well with her glutes and hams. She has one of the nastiest teardrops right here. Amazing. Imagine if her castle were a little bit bigger. This look would have been absolutely killer and complete. Okay. So I love the way she looks. I love that she's back on stage. I'm really happy. She is half a star away from 4 stars in this show. So I am really happy for Karen. And I believe we'll see her again. Raphael is doing the Olympia, so she might as well try to win a show so you can go to Olympia. And they both go together as husband and wife. Winning the show, the girl that I predicted in a way that was going to win the show, and a lot of people were watching her, Bruna. I have to say her name 3 times because that's like a lucky charm for nowadays. Bruna assured me that she was doing this show and she was coming in for the fire. She was coming in for battle. That was exactly what she did. The stage confidence, the look, the feel, the elegance, the muscle fullness with the right lines, not only from the front, from the back, won her this show. She is not the biggest in size, meaning like in height, but she does pack a punch. From all the shows that I've done since I kind of called out my call out from the Olympia, I think some things have to change in my call out once I saw Bruna come out, because she can make a humongous splash in the Olympia. She can be deadly, okay? And I'm not saying she's gonna win the Olympia, but she probably is gonna battle some people that people are not expecting, and she's probably gonna place a lot better than she's ever placed. Now, coming into the comparisons, where I think I can explain to you guys why exactly the places went the way they were. Again, small waist on Bruna, small waist on Karen. A little bit of distension here on Frida Paulsen, but that could be the breeding situation. Nothing crazy. Small waist everywhere in this show. What happens when they turn to the side from the quarter turns? That's where you see that Michelle is missing a little bit of this width that Bruna has. This is where Bruna shows that she's bigger than Frida and Michelle. If you see her next to Karen, they're almost identical in size. Almost identical. Karen is sitting a little bit too up and down, so that way it makes her look standish like this, straight up. But Bruna is angling a little bit more, so you can see more glutes. Calves are amazing. You see that when I told you that Karen has high calves, kind of the same calves that Frida Paulsen has. But Frida has been working hard on these calves, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you. From the back, great shot. Great shot. All these girls have worked tremendously hard to get that teardrop. The fullness of Michelle is crazy. If Karen had Michelle's calves, my game over. It wouldn't game over probably. But Bruna looks absolutely ridiculous in this shot, and you can tell that from all these 4 girls, she is the one that best suits that conditioning. So that's why I think people didn't understand why Michelle got 4th. She had all the tools, but came from the side poses. I believe that Michelle and Frida don't have the enough width to stand next to these two. In the end, it was just a whole overall Brazilian showdown in Las Vegas, Nevada, which we will have another Brazilian showdown come Olympia time on that Friday show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be crazy. I cannot wait to see each and every single one of you. I posted this picture. This is like the promotional shot for the Olympia. And it was fun. It was fun because I can probably tell you with, I want to say 95, 96%, that this top 4 right here, this is going to be shuffled somehow, some way. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be in the grandest stage of them all. And I cannot wait to see Francielli try to defend her world title against competitors that have never, ever stepped foot in that stage in America. That's going to be awesome. So, thank you so much for joining me here in this great podcast. A little bit heated, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to talk, and especially when you know what you're talking about, it's good to talk and express your opinions, especially when there's so much disinformation in the world, and there's some people talking that they don't even know about the reality of the situation. But then again, let me re-say this again, because I don't want any weird, Johnny said this, Johnny said that. Don't misquote me on anything. I don't have anything personal towards any competitor. When I critique you, I critique the good, the bad, and maybe, a little bit of the ugly, but maybe that little bit of the ugly, you can go back to the gym, get ready, get that ugliness out of your body system and get it awesome, and then come back and be at me and just tag me, and it's a big F you to Johnny Styles. Listen, I proved you wrong. It's happened before. It happened with Devin a couple of weeks ago. I went off on Devin at the Olympia, and now she comes over and wins the show in a dramatic fashion that looks absolutely crazy. I had to tell her, she shut me up. That's what it's all about. Bringing in competitors that prove me wrong. In a world that everybody has their opinions, I have my opinion as well. And I can validate that because I know exactly what I'm talking about. This has been Johnny Styles. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Let's do this.